Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, June 2nd. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes here. So you can already think about grabbing your water, making sure you have a nice kind of straight back, sturdy chair, and that your environment is clear of any hazards. And if you want any music, you can set that up now too. Or if you're going to be doing any standing exercises, having another chair or a counter or table close to you so that you can use that for balance. So just get your environment all set up and we'll be back here in 2 minutes. Okay, everyone, I have on my Fitbit and my watch or my phone that it's 9 a.m. So we shall get started. Oh, I want to get my timer going. So I stay within the time limit-ish, or at least on task. Okay, well, welcome everyone to the Cowichan Brain Injury Society's 10, 10, and 10 morning wake-up program. Cowichan Brain Injury Society is a nonprofit that serves folks with brain injuries as well as their support systems in the Cowichan Valley. Our 10, 10, and 10 morning wake-up program is posted live here on YouTube every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. And this is to tackle some of the 6 pillars of brain health. So we do 10 minutes of movement, 10 minutes of learning something new, and 10 minutes of mindfulness to help us with our stress management. I am Billy. I'm the registered kinesiologist at Cowichan Brain Injury Society. Now, I want to remind you that Cowichan Brain Injury Society is not liable for any risk or injury while participating in this program. It is up to you to keep your body and your environment safe. So if at any time something is feeling too strenuous, please modify the exercise or take a break. Or if any of the motions, if there's any range of motion that feels uncomfortable, I don't want you pushing in and through that pain at this time. I want you to just go where you might feel it and then come back down. So if we're doing some arm raises, you might just go up to kind of shoulder height, not go overhead. So be mindful of what your body needs and listen to your body. Making sure your arms can be out in front, out to either side, as well as your legs, that you're not kicking or hitting anything, making sure you have water close by to stay hydrated. And I would like you in a sturdy chair where you can sit on the edge of the chair, ideally without armrests if possible, so that you can move more effectively if you are staying seated throughout these exercises. Today, we will do a combination of seated exercises and standing exercises. I like to play some music, so I'm going to have my music going in my earbud here to give me a little extra motivation to get moving. All right, we're going to get started here with our movement. I'm going to press play. And let's start down at our ankles today. So let's extend out one leg and do some big circles with our toes. Think of your toes drawing O's in the air here. And then go the other way. Trying to exaggerate that movement, getting a full range of motion or as much range of motion as you can that isn't painful. All right, let's switch feet. Again, thinking about drawing O's with your toes. And the other way. And now we're going to do some calf or heel raises. And you can do this either standing or seated. So if you're seated, you just stay here at the edge of your chair, nice strong posture, engaged core. You're lifting your heels, coming down slow and controlled. Same movement if you're standing. I'll go sideways here, up, down. Using a chair for balance. Awesome. And you're pressing through the balls of your feet as you come up, trying to have even pressure through the inside and outside, your kind of big toe and little toe area. Good. A couple more seconds here. All right. We're going to do some marching in place. Well, if you're seated, this is just driving that knee towards your chest. Same idea standing. I'm going to do this for a few seconds. And then we're going to add some arms in. Trying to bring that nice and high. Going at a pace that feels good for you. We are trying to elevate our heart rate just a bit, getting some light to moderate exercise for you. Now let's add in our arms. That marching, so opposite arm. Think about your palm kind of coming towards your ear here. You're getting some flexion in your elbow. Good, a few more seconds. Good work. Okay, we're going to do a side step. So if you're in a seated position, you're just stepping out with one foot, bringing in, and then the other side's going to step out. Stepping out just like this. Great. If you're standing, good. Again, we're going to do this for a few seconds. I'm going to add in some arms, make it a little bit more challenging. You can add in the arms while you're seated and going at a pace that feels good for you. Just a little tap, side tap. Okay, so for our arms, we're bringing out, in, out, in, out, in. You can speed it up if you want. Stay at whatever pace feels good or go with the beat. That's what I'm doing right now. All right, couple more seconds. Nice work. Good. Okay, we're going to get some hip flexion. We're going to bend down, trying to get our chest down as low as we can. Again, we're at the edge of the chair, core nice and engaged. We're keeping our back in this neutral position. We're not rounding or arching, keeping it nice and tall, controlled movement. This can activate a bit of nausea, dizziness. So be mindful of that. Don't go as far or go really slow. Stay here for a moment and then come back up and take a break at the top if it's getting you nauseous. Looks the same while standing. Nice. Couple more seconds. Awesome. All right. We're going to reach our hand up overhead. Awesome. Reaching, alternating hands as high as feels comfortable. Again, this might just end up being a bit of elbow flexion, but if you can reach up, flexion to extension. Good. Nice work. We're going to keep up this movement and add in some legs. So opposite leg is going to extend out. Nice. Now, if you're wanting to stand, this will be kind of a forward heel tap. This is what this would look like. Do a couple more seconds here. Good job, everyone. Hopefully you're getting that heart rate up just a little bit here. Good. All right. We're gonna bring our arms out to the side here. And if you can get into this nice T position and you're just gonna flick your hands, your fingers here. We're trying to hold our hands here for a minute. I'm gonna see if we can do a minute. We might switch to the front, and if flicking feels like too much, just holding here. Do a little bounce. Another great way to challenge this. A little bounce here. Okay, we're gonna go out to the front. Same thing, you can flick your fingers or do just a little bounce with your hands here. Nice work. Do 10 more seconds here. We're gonna go out to the side again. Good work. Out to the side again. Flick. I'm gonna do 10 seconds here again and 10 seconds in the front. One more. You might feel this in your forearms as well as your shoulders. Front again, 10 more seconds, and then we're gonna be done. Bring those hands down. Nice work. Awesome. Bring that down. Whoop, I'm getting a bit warm. I have to take off my sweater here. Cool. I want us to try to get a little bit of our hamstrings engaged. So our knee bending here, flexion. So this is a little movement. We're just flexing our knee, trying to kick our bottoms almost with our heels. If you're standing, it's looking like this, using a chair for balance if needed. Good. Remember, going at a pace that feels good for you. Nice, strong posture. A few more seconds. Good job. Awesome. All right. Our next move is we're going to do some rainbow arms. So we're bringing our arms down to the ground, coming up, drawing a big circle or a rainbow. Nice. And if you're working on standing, this will do this knee bend, a bit of a squat, and up to the sky. Squat down, up. We're going to go the other way. Nice work. Again, if you're working on those squats, keeping your chest up. Back neutral. Awesome. Okay, lastly, we're just going to do a little bit of neck movements. I'm going to actually pause my music already. We're just going to look up to the sky. Bring our chin to the chest, our chin to our chest, up to the sky, chin to chest. Again, this can activate nausea, dizziness, vertigo-like feelings, challenges our vestibular system. So if this is making you feel dizzy, either making it a smaller movement or just doing one and then coming back to the center and just breathing and letting it integrate. Now we're looking over our shoulder checks. Good. Same thing, just do one, makes you feel dizzy. One head roll one way, one head roll the other way. Awesome. Shake all that out. Oh, great. I hope that felt good. I'm going to take a little look-see. It's always interesting to see. I got to almost 90, my heart rate. So definitely for me, it's a low intensity. movement, but that's going to be different for everybody, right? All right, so this month we are talking about the last pillar of brain health, which is cognitive stimulation. So that's using your mind, problem solving, learning things, etc. And so we're going to have a couple of different pieces to this throughout the month. But today we're just going to have a little general overview of how you should be stimulating your mind. What kind of activities are really helpful for this, and some of the things you should be looking for to know that you're doing this. So one of the reasons stimulating our mind is so important is it creates new neural pathways. It makes our brain work. It's like exercise for our brain. And now often people are like, oh yeah, I do the crossword puzzle, or I do Wordle every day on the New York Times app. I know I do that fairly often. Now, if you're doing that every day, it doesn't become a new or challenging experience. It might still be hard to figure out the word, but our brain gets kind of used to these different puzzles, and we kind of learn how to do them. You know, we might have a bank of 5-letter words for our Wordle that we can go through. We start seeing them more easily. So we do end up learning that skill, and it doesn't become challenging anymore. If you enjoy it, keep doing it. We need to find things that bring us joy. But part of the learning new things and stimulating our mind is that it's new, it's challenging. That resistance, that hard part of like, oh, I don't get it, I don't understand, this isn't kind of fitting together, that's actually really when those new neural pathways are being laid down. That's when there's things structurally, things are changing in our brain. So if you're finding learning a new skill is really challenging, don't shy away once it starts to feel like that. This is actually showing you that there's really some work happening in your brain, which I am definitely guilty of. When things get too hard, I just move on. Or if things don't come easily to me, I would like to move on. I work hard, but I don't like feeling like I'm bad at things. So I'm guilty of this, and learning about how important that challenge and that almost resistance you have is actually the part that's really making your brain work, I'm hoping makes me lean into that feeling a bit more. So neuroplasticity, as we know, is our brain adapting and changing. It's these new neural pathways developing. It might be structural changes that are happening in the brain, and this happens throughout our lifetime. We used to think it was just for children, but we know throughout adulthood that we can change our brains. Now, the difference is that when we're a child, we can passively learn. We don't really need to be engaged. You know, people are talking at us and we are going to learn language. You know, babies aren't actively studying the word and how the sounds go together. As an adult, we need alertness and focus to actually be learning something new and to get that neuroplasticity happening. We don't have the passive learning that children have. Their brains are kind of made to absorb and really take in information without having to engage as deeply. So that is something which I thought was a little disappointing. You know, when I listen to the radio and I'm not actually listening to the radio, maybe I'm still learning something. Well, probably not. Adults need to be alert and focused, engaged in the material for our brains to start to change and reform and learn. So some of the biggest thing is changing up your routines, doing new things. So trying a new recipe, taking a new route to Cowichan Brain Injury Society or work or school, learning a new language, a new instrument, hosting an event, and having these different moving parts that you have to figure out, learning a new game. So a game you've never played before, if you have to, read the rules and teach it to someone, that's a great way to learn, is teaching it to someone else. Usually it's really about this like newness. Some other things like learning some dance steps to something. I was actually at a party just this weekend where we did some line dancing, and I was really engaged. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to be able to do it with everybody. So I was very focused on it, and it was challenging, right? Like you have to hit the right steps at the right time, but it felt really good once I got it. Yeah, a new skill. So like it could be something about like building something or sewing or knitting. Those are new skills, right? And sometimes you might have a skill set that you feel really good about, or maybe feels challenging after your brain injury, but learning something new but associated can actually help integrate these different pieces. So, maybe for example, someone actually gave this example not long ago and I thought it was really good. It is with knitting, is like maybe you're having a hard time following a pattern like you used to. So then just learning maybe a different stitch or two, and that might actually help you follow a pattern, or doing a sewing project instead of a knitting project where you also have to follow a pattern might translate. So finding things that are maybe related to some of your current hobbies, but kind of push it a little bit further. What else did I want to tell you about this is, so this being alert and focused, that is a really key important ingredient to being able to learn new things. And you can actually do some different things for your body to feel more alert and be more focused. So the Huberman Lab is a podcast done by a neuroscientist. He's really great. And he talks about some ways that you can help yourself be more alert and more focused. I won't get into all of them, but one is this exercise. So increasing your heart rate, as I think I've told you before, the aerobic exercise specifically produces this protein, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is key for neuroplasticity and new neural pathways. We need that for things to rearrange in our brain. And it is produced when we exercise. So getting our heart rate usually to that kind of moderate zone, so about 70, 80% of your max heart rate, really helps with creating that, and then learning something new can kind of come a bit easier, or your brain is like primed for focus, for alertness, for neuroplasticity. So if you're able to bring your heart rate up to about 70, 80% of your max, and then in the next 2 to 4 hours, have that be when you're learning something new, it's going to be great for you. Also, things that can help with alertness is like cold showers. We even talked about different breathing techniques. So some help with the parasympathetic nervous system, and some more the sympathetic nervous system, which kind of helps heighten our systems, and we're kind of more on alert, which can be good for learning, right? We're more engaged, more alert. So doing things like I think we talked about, let's see if I remember it. Oh yeah, if you increase the length of your inhale and your exhale is shorter, that helps with more of the alertness, versus if you have a longer exhale and a shorter inhale, that helps with more of the rest, relaxation. So if you would like to be more alert, you're planning to learn something new, doing a breathing exercise where you're maybe breathing in, let me try it. We're going to breathe in for 5 counts maybe, and then exhale for 2. So short exhale. So if you're inhaling longer, I wasn't very good at that. Powerful exhale, short exhale, that can help with alertness. Yes, another piece that I'll just mention today, and then we'll move on, is that so you can challenge your brain. Things are feeling hard, we're learning something new, but then so that is already kind of changing some things in your brain, helping things to rewire, but the real setting that pathway, that new pathway, like really laying it down, happens actually while we sleep. So during rest, recovery, that's when those things kind of integrate and the rewiring really kind of completes itself, let's say. That's not very scientific, but if you kind of know what I mean, is like having proper sleep is really essential for that learning process. So you might spend a month, maybe longer, trying to learn a couple scales on the guitar, and you're having a hard time getting it, right? It's really challenging. If you continue to have good sleep, etc., and you're really engaged and focused to that, there's going to be one day you kind of just get it. And that's after things have really laid themselves down fully and you have this new kind of neural pathway where things kind of fit into place. I hope that is interesting and, and helpful and gets us kind of starting to think about what can challenge our brain effectively. In the next coming weeks, we're going to talk about incremental learning, which can be really good for learning, a growth mindset, which is helpful for finding challenges rewarding instead of just hard. And we will probably also talk about the vagus nerve a bit more, which we've touched on in a couple different sessions. All right. Take a moment. Let that information sink in. Grab a sip of water if you haven't already. I always need to after talking for so long. It's only 10 minutes, but it feels like a long time. Get yourself comfortable in your seat here. We're going to do a little mindfulness exercise. Okay. We're going to go back to one of the exercises we've done in the past. We're going to do some tapping. Now, this can look different for different folks, like what feels good for you. I like to kind of find the spot just underneath my clavicle. Just kind of, there's like a nice pocket near my shoulder here. So before kind of this joint here, but right in there underneath my collarbone, my clavicle here. I like to kind of place my fingers there. I'm going to just tap. Find a little beat. Be slow. We're going to focus on that thumping. We're not going to worry about our breathing today. We're just going to let our breathing do what it needs to do. We're going to focus on the sound that that thumping is making. We're going to notice the sensation. And when thoughts come into your mind about, something that happened last night, a social interaction that you're overthinking, a TV show you've been watching, what you need to make for dinner tonight, what appointments are coming up this week. We're going to let those slide by and keep refocusing on that tapping on our chest area here. You can notice the different sounds that are around you. But again, just letting those pass by and coming and refocusing on the sound of the tapping on your chest. Close your eyes. A great way to feel grounded and connected to your body by creating a sound on your own, creating a physical sensation. You might even decide to change the rhythm a little bit, which is fine, or maybe soften or harden the thumping. And just really focusing on how that changes things for you. softness, allow a gentler, calmer sensation to settle in your body. Harder might make you feel more alert, more power. I'm just going to stay here for another minute. Continuing to refocus on the sensation, the auditory, physical. And letting those other thoughts just pass you by like clouds, cars on the street. Not letting yourself get fully distracted by other thoughts. Always coming back to the sensation. All right. And stop the tapping. Take some deep breaths here, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. And we're going to try to alert our system, and maybe you can go try something new for yourself. So we're going to take 5 quick inhales through our nose and then an exhale through our mouth. So all right. See how that breathing sits in your body. I find that quite challenging, the quick inhales. But it definitely feels like a different sensation than the slow breathing. Try that out. Try that out through your day, especially if you're going to learn something new. See if that helps you make your body a bit more alert and then ready to focus and learn. All right, well, that's all I have for you today with the 10, 10, and 10 morning program. I hope you got something out of that, and keep challenging your brain, keep that brain healthy, and we'll see you next week. Bye.